image, launch through our app, select our new application, then scale image, then width will be 20, height will be 7, so we can blur it. Hit scale, okay, the name will be this, hit save. You can see that the image is blurred. Ski Heights is a unified place to learn, develop efficient, scalable apps with enthusiastic ideas. OnActivityResult is a mechanism provided by Android, helps you to get result from an activity. We will be continuing with our image viewer app so that our image is scaled with an image scale activity. So we'll click on just image viewer app. So what we'll do is we'll create an activity. So we'll be creating an activity from scratch. Let's name that image scale activity. It will be extending app compat activity. We'll define onCreate method, which is called when the activity is created, and set the content view to be. We'll create an layout file for activity underscore scale. We also need to register our activity in manifest. Name will be image scale activity. We don't need to specify the intent filter because we will be calling this activity on our own. So in the image scale activity, we will be building the image scale activity UI that will consist 2 edit text views for number, that will be width and height of the image to be scaled. So we'll align them. We'll constrain them. Okay, this will be width and this will be for height. The width will be 0 constraint. Set their ID scale underscore width, and for this scale height, and we'll just have a button that setting the height and image. So how you constrain decides how your view will be aligned. So we want this and this, then this will be at center, string to this. Okay, this will be scale, or ID will be scale underscore then scale. Edit text have attributes such as hint and label, so we'll hint their width and here be height, so that it's displayed to user that here the width should be specified and here the height. We'll give some margin for them, margin be 7 dp, sim margin for this. Now we'll get these both views by find view by ID. So first will be the width edit text. The edit text is nothing but what you see the view where user can enter number. See, the input type will be number signed, so only numbers will be entered over here, and we'll set it equal to find view by ID to the r.id dot scale width, what we gave the ID to that view. So this will give reference of the scale width. Similarly, we want reference to the scale height. Scale height. So we have both references over here, and we'll get a similar reference to the done button, r.id dot scale done. So done. Okay, when this done button will be called, with edit text and right edit text, change the variable name so that it's more sensible. With get the width by, we'll get the width by referencing the width edit text, width edit text dot text it will give an editable, convert it to string, then we'll convert it to int. So similarly we will get height, so just replace it with height variable, and instead of width edit text it will be height edit text, so it will reference this height edit text. We'll be able to get the height. We'll check if width and height is not null. We check if the width and height is not null, and if it's not null, so we need to scale the image. Now first of all we need to get the input image, and how we do that, arguments are passed between activities through intent extras, and that intent extras are nothing but a bundle class that is a key value pair like structure. So we will define our key, the input image. You can name any string that will specify, but it's best practice you give an app name so it will be unique. So we'll pass in the input image URI from this main activity. For this we need to add an image scale button. So just will add an image scale button over here. With be wrap content, and IDB scale. The text will be scale image. Okay, this we need to change the orientation to be vertical. You can see that this is match parent. Okay, for this scenario what we can do is the layout wet. We can use the layout wet that will divide the screen as per you want. So what we want, this view is horizontal, make the height decided by the Android, and we'll set the layout weight to be 8. This layout weight should be proportionate. We'll align it to center by layout gravity. Now in the main activity we'll get reference to it. Scale, this will get reference by find view by ID. Pass in the view of the ID which we want to select. So this is scale, and scale, whenever the scale button is clicked, you want to append an on click listener. So on click of the scale, this lambda will be called, and what we want to do is launch our image scale activity. In previous version of Android we were having OnActivityResult. We were directly starting the OnActivityResult indent, and the result was received over here with the result code, request code and data, and the request code were made by us to differentiate between the request, and the result code was whether the request was successful or not, and the data was the result sent by the activity. But now on the prior versions of Android we have the activity result launcher, which is recommended way, private let init var image scale activity launcher with an which is an activity result launcher which takes input as an intent. Under the hood, the activity result launcher also works with intents. So even we specify any of the string or any of the other input data, it makes an intent for that and passes to Android OS. So internal structure never changes. So image activity launcher, now we'll be initializing it over here by registering for result, that's by method register activity for result, and the activity result contracts will be start activity for result, because we want to start an activity and get an result from that activity. and you will receive an activity result. In this activity result, you will know whether the request was successful or not, and what is the result or the data passed by that activity. So when the scale button is clicked, we want to create an intent of scale activity. So we'll name it scale it intent. This will an intent. So this is an explicit intent. We know explicitly that we want to call the image scale activity. So we'll specify the image scale activity class. Now how we specify arguments to an intent is, there are methods like put extra and for different types of data. So we want to pass an URI of the image. So we'll pass an URI of the image, put extra, and the key which we have specified here, so we can differentiate it. So image scale activity dot input image and the URI of the input image. So we need to store it to pass in this. We will store it where selected image will be in the label URI. And what we should do actually is virtually logical. If the selected image is not null, then and then only we should call the scale activity, otherwise it's just illogical. Passing the selected image scale activity launcher dot launch, and in the input we should specify the scale intent. So it will launch this image scale activity with an input argument of the input image, that's an URI. Okay, now in the image scale activity, we'll access the URI. So selected image be intent dot get parsable extra, and this will be the key which we specified. Why specified and constant? Because this key over here, what we get an input from and what we set an input should be same. So maintain this consistency, we specified an constant. So in the image, this will be an URI. This will be an label URI. Now what we should do is extract the image from that URI. Scale image. We'll create a function that will extract the image from that URI and scale the image, which will take in URI. This will also take in the destination width and height. And destination height. Okay. So this function will scale the image which the URI is pointing to, destination width and height, what the user has entered. We'll call the function if width and height is not null. So we scale image. So we'll call the scale image over here, and the destination width and height. This selected image also should not be null. We check for it, and in the scale image get the bitmap. Bitmap is an Android format of representing an image. Bitmap. Get image out of that URI by bitmap factory dot decode file descriptor. And how we get the file descriptor is by the content resolver. We'll be explaining about that in later videos about the SQLite and all. So we'll open the file descriptor by specifying the image URI, and the mode will be read mode. And for this too, you need an permission. Your application needs an permission to read. So this will in return give you parcel file descriptor but you want a file descriptor, so you can access it by dot file descriptor. This could be nullable, so we'll check it, or else just wrap it with a let call. The file descriptor is not run. We pass in the file descriptor to that. That's not FT, that's file descriptor. So we pass in the file descriptor, so image is extracted in this bitmap, the variable image. We need to scale it. How we scale is, there's a bitmap method scale, so bitmap.create scale bitmap. We need to pass in the source image and the destination width and height, and we do not want any of the filter, so just specify false over here. So this method will scale this bitmap to this destination width and height. So once we have the scale bitmap, how we could get extension is, first of all check if the URI scheme is file or not. Scheme is file or not. If it's file, then and then only we should execute this code. If it's file, then we'll get that file by creating a file object out of that URI path. So we can get that extension. This will not be null if it's in file. So this is an extension of file. Now that we have the extension, we need to save the file. So for saving the file, we'll create an intent that will ask for user to create a document, because since entered queue you cannot create directly in a public directory. So we'll create an intent to create a document. So activity result display an activity result launcher. I will take in string. Here the input is string because we will be passing the file name over here. So with this I will be showing you how we deal with the files. So create document. So we'll be registering activity result over here. So again register activity for result and activity contracts dot create document, and the URI will be passed of this created document by the user. So here you should write the image. So for that we need to store the scale bitmap. So we'll be storing scale bitmap. So this will be a scaled bitmap variable. So scale bitmap will be storing here. So we'll be just starting the create document intent. Create document dot launch, and the file name which should be by default entered. So this will be and random one skills dot the extension. So this will launch an intent for the user to create a document, and after the user has created document, the document URI will be passed over here. We'll create an output stream out of that with content resolver because it will be of type content. So we'll open an output stream with this URI. Mode will be write mode because we want to write on this file. We also need a mem type of the file. We require it during the bitmap compress method. So first of all we'll check if scaled is not null by wrapping it with let call. We'll get the type of the file. For that we'll be requiring a function that will get us the mem type of the file. I have created one guest. The link is in description. So you need to just copy this function, this is getting information through content resolver. So I'll be explaining about content resolver. We also will be building our own content resolver to populate our data through the device. For now, just copy and paste this function that will get the file type by an URI. If you see in the scale bitmap, that is when bitmap method compress, this compress method needs an bitmap compress format that will be based on your meme type of your file. So first of all, we'll create an compress format with an when statement over here. First of all, we'll get the meme type of the file. So here's a function which we copied from the guest, get file type. We just need to pass in the URI, selected file URI. So we just pass in it, and if it's image slash JPG or image slash JPG, the compressed format will be JPG, or the image meme type is the PNG one, then it will be the compressed format will be PNG. After we get the compressed format, we'll just wrap it with let call that it's not null. So just pass in the compressed format. We need to what quality we want to preserve. We want to preserve the 100% quality and the output stream where the image will be written. So this will be the output stream. Make sure you wrap it with try catch block so that exception is caught and that your application does not crash. Okay, if the compress format is not null, we'll compress it to this output stream. Means the bitmap image will be copied to a file that the user has specified. Then we need to set the result. So the result will be result score OK, and with an intent apply method, we should put the result over here in this intent. With the method put extra, you can set it. So output image will be the selected file by the user, because that's where we are writing the image. Now just we need to finish this activity so that we are navigated back to activity which called. So we just copy and paste, and here the result will be cancelled. You are done building the app, so let's run it. You can see your app is launched. Now we'll just go to the image and launch through our app. Select our new application, then scale image, then width will be 20, height will be 7, so we can blur it. Hit scale, okay, the name will be this, hit save. You can see that the image is blurred. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel for getting such videos and press the like button if you like this video.